Hello, it's PJ
And Noah.
on the Poverty Franchise podcast. Today we'll be talking just about the beginning of the NBA season. Some of my already horrible dated takes of, I think, 5 days ago.
I watched it, and I thought most of it was pretty reasonable. Not most of it. A majority.
It was some of it was like very like baseline reasonable things, but then when it came to that,
like your takes,
when it came to the season predictions, because I have the notepad, I'm gonna go grab it. It was bad. I'm already regretting all of it.
Man, when I heard that the Celtics were a first round knockout, I was just like, you meant after the play-in, right? Not including.
No, not counting the play-in. No, I think they're gonna be a 5 or 6 seed.
Even then, I think that's just like. Looking at how they finished the season last year, even if we don't have our coach, I just feel like they know how to run plays well enough, and they got enough talent to
I was just looking from like the vacuum of they lost their coach. Probably their second most high-profile off-season addition is out for the year.
Right.
I was really blowing those way out of proportion. I'm tracking back right now. And if the Celtics turn around and play like ass the rest of the year, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah, because you're turning back now.
Yeah, but I guess this is the official turn back. And underrating the Trailblazers just because I hate on Damian Lillard irrationally is probably my two biggest regrets. And the West is kind of a shit show.
Oh yeah.
This year, I do stand by the fact that I think the Clippers are the best team in basketball.
I still kind of disagree with that.
I stand by that barring injury, I think the Clippers are the best team in basketball.
Yeah, but I feel like they've had the same pieces for like all the important pieces for like 2 years.
But Kawhi Leonard hasn't played 2 of those years.
Right. Even still, I don't think.
And then they add John Wall this year.
I don't think Paul George or John Wall are like big enough difference makers to put them at the best team in basketball.
I think they are. I think Paul George and Reggie Jackson of all people carried a very mediocre Clippers team to the playoffs.
Right.
And all their role players are playing good. John Wall looks good this year.
Does he?
He does. He's playing good basketball. I mean, he hasn't played for 2 years.
Yeah. I just know he's coming off of some serious injuries,
Yeah, and then the Rockets debacle, really. Yeah. Where he basically hasn't played in 3 years because he came back from the injury, got sent to Houston in the Russell Westbrook trade.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't want to play for that Rockets team either. Also pray for Eric Gordon because he's still there. Eric Gordon 5 years ago was 1 game away from the NBA Finals, and you should have hit one of those 27 threes, Eric.
In a row. 27 in a row.
If you would have hit one of them, you would have been in the NBA Finals.
It was so crazy. The only person scoring that entire half was just James Harden.
That's it. But no threes, though.
Yeah, well, that's
it
all
was
they
just James
shot.
Harden and Clint Capella were the only people who were scoring.
Nobody else even went for a shot that wasn't a three.
Because Chris Paul stopped driving. Because Chris Paul was dealing with that whatever injuries he get in the hamstring injury, so he wasn't driving. It also zapped his shot.
Yeah. And they were all just missing.
And then was Trevor Ariza starting at 3 on that team, or was it?
It was a small lineup.
It was PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker at the 5.
And then they weren't playing Clint Capella for
God
knows what.
Or was that the season after that?
That was the bubble year where they started PJ Tucker at the 5.
Yeah, that's right.
That was the year. That was 2 years. It was the next 2 years after they started messing with that. So PJ Tucker was was still on the court, just at the 3.
He was at the 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And
PJ Tucker was not hitting because he's the best corner 3-point shooter in the NBA. Didn't hit a single one in that 27 shots.
My brother, as a Rockets fan, he's really excited about this Victor dude.
That pair him, Jabari Parker Jr. and Jalen Green.
Yeah, what's this Victor dude like? I don't know anything about draft prospects.
Well, Victor Wembanyama, he's out of France.
Yeah.
7'3". He looks like what everyone thought Porzingis was really gonna be. He can handle the ball. He shoots off. He's bigger Kevin Durant, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he played against the G League Ignite team in the preseason this year, and he looked that good.
Really?
I mean, he's taking shots off the dribble. As a 7'3" true center.
Right.
He can handle the ball. He's a matchup nightmare.
Yeah, I think
he's still really thin. He does bring up the Chet Holmgren, which he's out for the year with his torn because he messed up his ankle or foot in that Pro-Am game. He's the number 2 pick that the Thunder picked this year.
Gotcha.
Right after Paolo.
Oh, I do remember Chet.
Yeah, just at Gonzaga. But he may have that same problem where against your smaller but like stockier 4s and 5s, they're going to mess him up inside no matter how much taller they are. Because I know Kenneth Lofton, he was this on like 6'9", like more traditional back to the basket big out of Ole Miss. In the summer league was giving Chet fits underneath.
Yeah.
Because Kenneth Lofton's like 270.
I also feel like, but I feel like in the NBA, like excluding like the G League and in the preseason, like the calls are so just like liberal in the regular season.
Oh yeah, it just depends on the player too. Because from the games I've watched, DeMar DeRozan is getting, if you are anywhere near his mid-range jumper, you're getting a foul.
Yeah, that's how it was against James Harden in the opener.
And then James Harden's getting his calls back.
Yeah,
because the league is like, damn, we need him. We need that. They put the word out.
Yeah, still lost, but
But and Harden looks
good.
He looks good this year.
He looks really good, yeah.
I think I'll just chalk up last year of him coming, he was coming off a shitty situation in Brooklyn.
And like
mid-season,
coming off injury too.
The injury, the mid-season trade, he got a full training camp to get back to speed with the Sixers.
Yeah, I think it's a really good fit.
Ben Simmons has been, and on that, speaking of that trade, Ben Simmons is the first 3 games has not been looking good.
Go figure.
I mean, 17 points and I didn't even mention Ben Simmons when I was breaking down the Nets in my first video because that's how little I think of him right now.
He's such a fraud, man.
But 17 points and 14 fouls in the first 3 games this year.
Oh, I think you were about to say 17 points per game.
Oh, no. 17 points total.
Oh, so it's like,
He's still, Andre Drummond is shooting threes before him, for fuck's sake.
Dude, I don't get...
Taj Gibson has shot more threes, I think.
I don't get how he fell off so hard and just got figured out that quickly. I guess that's what happens.
It's just that he mentally cannot shoot threes.
Yeah.
Again, Giannis worked through it eventually. He's still not a great 3-point shooter,
right,
but he's a lot better than when he started because he just kept shooting them.
I was thinking about that earlier, like how much it takes for a professional athlete to be mentally strong versus being mentally weak. And it's so easy for someone who's already got this pro contract, they already got the superstar name, to just slack off and just be like, well, I don't need to do X, Y, and Z. But somebody who is mentally strong and, wants to be the best is going to say, all right, I'm doing X, Y, and Z 5 times over until I'm good at them. And he just, I don't think he takes the initiative he needs to in his own game to actually make an impact on the court.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you can also just look at the backgrounds if we're going to use the Giannis to Ben Simmons comparison.
Right.
And Giannis grew up on the streets of Greece, poor immigrant family, was selling fake handbags on the street, was literally just sheer luck he would not be playing professional basketball.
Right.
That's the narrow margins of his career, and he plays for his family and for where he came from. Whereas we look at Ben Simmons, he's been skating by being 6'10" and athletic as hell.
Look at his LSU season, bro. He didn't play.
He didn't play. When he did play, it was great. He played great ball at LSU, but he didn't give enough of a shit. He got a 1.5 GPA at LSU as a student athlete. I'm not knocking public universities, but if you're a student athlete and you have under a 2.0 GPA with all your academic tutors and how easy you're one and done. You're taking 1,000 level classes.
Yeah, it's at LSU. It's not even like...
It's not Harvard. It's not...
Yeah, it's not like a school where,
It's not Stanford or
where they're going to take their academics way more seriously than their athletics.
It's a Southern public university, and you're a student athlete at it.
They're
giving you a break.
You got 5 legs up on everybody else.
Yes. You've been... we both went to Clemson. Yeah. You've been in classes with student athletes, right? You know how
they get that special treatment.
They make... Hey, with NIL, I can't really fucking blame them anymore. Hey, they entertain us, so shit.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
I'm not really that mad about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not jealous.
I'm not gonna be that's not my career path. I take my shit seriously because I'm not gonna be a pro football player, basketball player.
Right, I can't just fuck.
Why the fuck do they care about their communication shit?
Their business degree.
When they're gonna be playing, when they're gonna be making millions doing the other thing that they're there for, the main thing, which is that sport.
Yeah, and.
The Clemson basketball players need to concentrate on the academics, not the football players.
Yeah, I think the basketball players definitely need to concentrate on their athletics, man. That's so sad. They've never put it together, man. Clemson basketball. I don't get it. We got a great soccer team, great football team. But you go and you look at our basketball team.
And it's weird. We're at a departure from the NBA a little bit. It's weird when you look at South Carolina high school basketball.
Yeah,
it's not
good.
Bad. It's really good for a state.
We had Zion and Ja Morant.
In the same recruiting. Everyone missed Ja.
Yeah, that's
so true. And Duke outbid Clemson for Zion.
Oh yeah, hard.
But it's not like the money at Clemson isn't there.
Yeah, they definitely
because Clemson outbid the whole country for Trevor Lawrence. Right. We outbid the country for so many football players.
They just don't want to throw any.
They just can't. They couldn't throw a little bone for basketball. Again, when your program's best player of all time is Horace Grant and Tree Rolland, is not a good look.
Yeah.
But Zion could have changed shit.
Yeah,
he would have been there.
He was verbally committed.
He was verbally, and he was hometown too. He's from Spartanburg. He wasn't going to fucking Wofford. So.
Can you imagine?
And it's more embarrassing when Wofford's D1.
Oh yeah, they are. Barely.
Yeah. No, Wofford's had a couple of decent tournament teams. Yeah. Wofford has the I think they have the record for total team threes in the season. Their coach is at VT right now. Their old coach.
What?
Yeah, they had he ran like a 5-out system that was really effective. That's the other very embarrassing thing about Clemson and South Carolina basketball in a nutshell is that routinely the best team in the state is probably Furman or Wofford.
Yeah.
Both mid-majors. But Clemson missing out on, and then if you go back to earlier, missing out on Ray Allen.
Right.
He went to UConn.
You
probably weren't going. You probably weren't going to get Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett. Sorry, Kevin Garnett. I don't know why I said Garnett for some reason. Kevin Garnett. Because once he found out he can go straight to the league.
Well, he got pushed out to Chicago.
I mean, he got pushed out for other reasons that were outside of Clemson's control.
Yeah.
That would never have wanted him to come back to South Carolina. But South Carolina Columbia, they tried to recruit him.
Yeah.
And he was thinking about it. Which again, he was from the upstate.
Yeah, he's from Greenville.
So he was from
Malden.
He was from Malden. So why Clemson didn't even attempt to get Kevin Garnett
beats me.
Is one of the weirder things. And then missing out on Sindorius Thornwell, who carries South Carolina to that Final Four matchup. Again, he's from Lancaster, still the upstate.
Yeah. No, they just don't scout out basketball like that.
I mean, they got PJ Hall, but shit, PJ Hall just liked Clemson, and that's the sole reason. And he's probably talent-wise, the best player that hasn't been transferred in that Clemson's had in a long time.
Yeah.
It comes down to the coach. Brad Brownell's a terrible coach, but buying him out is too expensive, so they can't fire him.
Does he really have a contract like that?
Mm-hmm. Buying him out would cost about $3 to $4 million a year for the next couple of years.
Oh my god!
He'd be the third. He'd be right behind Dabo and Dawn Staley. Because Dawn Staley is the second highest paid.
Yeah. Because
the women's basketball coach, South Carolina. That's how much he'd be getting paid in his buyout. Oh, it's basically poison pilled. Yeah. So they can't buy him out. It'd exceed the budget of Clemson Athletics if they included his buyout.
The agent needs a raise.
The agent, and because the AD was his friend, Dan Radovich, before he went to Miami, loved him.
Oh, gotcha.
But back to the NBA. The other teams that not many teams are starting out poorly that I thought.
The Lakers.
The Lakers. I gave them the injury doubt, but man,
they're a bad team.
They're just a bad team.
They're a bad team.
I wanted them to not be. I believe there's no way you can have one Mount Rushmore basketball athlete and Anthony Davis, who probably will go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was MVP caliber
before he became a second
Laker.
Yeah.
But I think their biggest problem is when you let LeBron go rampant as the GM.
This shit happens because he chooses dudes he likes,
and he doesn't think about team composition. He doesn't he's not making the plays.
He doesn't think of salary considerations. When the Tristan Thompson situation at Cleveland, we have to pay him. Did you really have to pay Tristan Thompson 4 years, $71 million?
Really, Tristan Thompson? That was your key piece.
You could have gone any half decent power forward. You could have gone fucking Festus Ezeli to do that shit for
a minimum
for the minimum.
But no, they wanted Tristan Thompson because that's his guy.
I think it was 4 year, $51 million. Still too damn much money.
Yeah, and I mean they have really good pieces, but I think when you have LeBron regressing, ruining the team composition, and Anthony Davis deferring to LeBron, I think that's the biggest problem. Is that he defers to LeBron.
When Anthony Davis, with LeBron being at this age, needs to be the number one option.
He needs to be the guy.
But he hasn't been the guy since. Once Anthony Davis was able to defer to DeMarcus Cousins, he did. Because DeMarcus Cousins was
really good.
And that team was great before DeMarcus Cousins. Before his career pretty much went on.
It was an Achilles injury.
Achilles, yeah. That team that team was the hard.
I thought
that team was the hard counter to the Warriors.
I thought they would make a deeper run. Yeah.
Because Rondo was playing out of his fucking mind on that team. Yeah. He was having those 20 assist games with like it was great basketball to watch.
It was
and really they would have given the Warriors a great run for their money just on the styles.
Yeah, because just how they matched up.
Because they couldn't stop
Boogie and
Boogie, but once he went down, that was it, and that was kind of it of DeMarcus Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins.
That was kind of it for the Pelicans.
That was it for the Pelicans until Zion and whatever they're going to do this year.
Yeah, but even then, it's not even.
But that was the Pelicans that was their chance.
Yeah, it really was. That was the year they could have made a deep run or could have made some upsets, but DeMarcus Cousins' body just gave out.
And it's sad because DeMarcus Cousins was the best center in the league for a few seasons.
Oh yeah.
And people are gonna slander DeMarcus Cousins.
They're never gonna give him credit for that.
And you see it now with Dwight Howard, man. Whenever I see people that Dwight Howard isn't a Hall of Fame center, I want to slap them. Dwight Howard was legitimately the best center in the league.
Started watching basketball 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's so you started watching Dwight Howard the last year on the Rockets, and then his journeyman era
on the Wizards,
on the Hawks, on the Hornets, on the Lakers, on the Sixers. No. You need to go watch some highlights. Go look at the box scores. Go watch some highlights.
Magic.
Go watch that he took a worse finals team than LeBron took to the finals.
He really did.
Because his only other All-Star was Jameer Nelson.
Yeah.
And Jameer Nelson did not deserve to be an All-Star that year. And he had Hedo PED Turkoglu.
Oh, Hedo Turkoglu. Dude, the PD Hedo Turkoglu. That card was so dumb.
Pink Diamond, Pink Diamond Hedo Turkoglu was 6'10" Steph Curry.
That was the dumbest update ever. I don't think I think that's what made me quit my team. I don't know.
Was that 2K20? 2K19?
20.
20? Most broken card ever in my team history. Pink Diamond Hedo Turkoglu.
It wasn't even a Galaxy Opal,
man. And then Miami starting out 1-3. They had that.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, they had that fight against. They had that. The most interesting is they had that fight against I think it was the Pacers.
They had a fight.
Yeah, not they shoved Kobe Martin and their new European guy Nikola Jovic got suspended for a game.
How about Draymond Green knocking out Jordan Poole?
The video getting out was the worst part.
Yeah.
Because fights happen all the time in NBA training camps.
Sure.
Worse, Bobby Portis sent Nikola Mirotic to the fucking hospital.
Right, but that was for a good reason. That was for a good reason.
Again, no one on the Bulls spoke up for Mirotic, which I'm just going to default that Mirotic. He's from Montenegro. That's Eastern Europe. That's the Balkans. He said something racist.
I'm sure he probably did.
But hey, Mirotic is EuroLeague MVP with Barcelona right now. Yeah. He's enjoying life in Spain, so good for him.
I knew Mirotic was a good player, man.
Mirotic just got tired of the NBA.
Yeah,
he got tired of being a role player.
Didn't seem like the right fit for him.
He wanted to be a star. He gets to be a star in Europe.
He has the talent for it.
And he wasn't
bad.
Once he cut his beard after that punch, he was averaging 18, 20 a night for the Bulls before he got traded to the Pelicans.
He was really
He was also on that Pelicans team with DeMarcus and Davis as the stretch, as the stretch three. Yeah. As the spacing and...
Yeah, I remember that. That lineup was crazy. And then they had Drew Holiday at the one.
All right, it was Rondo, Holiday, Mirotic, Davis, Cousins.
Yeah.
That's a good lineup. That's a good lineup. Sure, Drew isn't as good as he is on the Bucks, but because he wasn't shooting as good. Right. But defensively,
he's still the same guy, bro. He's still got all defense.
Still a dog.
No, how about Marcus Smart winning DPOY? That was crazy.
The first guard to do it since Gary Payton. It's better than Rudy Gobert winning it again.
Yeah,
because I think Rudy Gobert is one of them.
Such a snore fest, bro.
And dude, I know my other controversial takes that the Timberwolves defense will probably get worse with Rudy Gobert and Cat playing at the same time because they're gonna have their interior defense. Sure, your percentage at the rim is gonna be a lot better, but Cat didn't switch as is. You have a turnstile at guard at D'Angelo Russell in front of those two.
Yeah.
They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose the same way they lost on the Jazz.
Rudy Gobert
just run the pick and roll.
Doesn't make the team any better.
Doesn't he? They add some rebounding and they add some interior defense.
But they lose out on
Sure, Cat can space the floor and and he can work inside by himself when you run those lineups. But you can't play Rudy Gobert late in games because he can't shoot free throws and he's too slow once a team starts running.
Yeah, transition.
Cat is also a little too slow for transition, but you have to have him out there because he's your 25, 28 point per game scorer.
No, I feel like just that team isn't a good build for the modern NBA. Like I feel like the pace is too high, especially like
if they would have made this team in the '90s.
Great.
And Cat he wasn't even shooting 3, he was just shooting mid-range shots.
Yeah.
It'd be a great team.
Great team.
Even the early 2000s would be a great team.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's just the way
they run so fast. Like they run the floor so much.
And every team does. Pace will kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost correlated. The teams with the worst. I mean, the last team that had the worst, like a bottom 5 pace and was a competitive team was the Grit and Grind Grizzlies.
Yeah, that was like what 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, like the last ones, and like them and the Spurs.
Yeah.
Well, the Spurs actually had a pretty good pace. They just didn't.
Well, when
pace and offensive rating.
You know, they were really they were fine. They had a consistent enough pace.
Yeah, they were like middle of the pack pace. The Grizzlies were a bottom tier pace.
Just slow it down.
They just they grit and grind, but they never won anything with it though.
But like I feel like elite you can score so much in such a short span with these high paces that a grit and grind team once they start getting behind, it's really hard to make it up.
Because I mean you can watch a lot of you're seeing all the comebacks. I mean the Bulls erased a 19-point deficit. Unfortunately, last night in the first quarter, and then went in the next 3 quarters until the fourth when they were scored 80-40.
Right.
And you can just erase that in a quarter by just running because the Bulls are a much faster team without. That's the only benefit of having Ayo Dosunmu instead of Lonzo Balls, that they are a much faster team with Ayo at the point. Because Lonzo does slow the game down a bit, which you need in late game scenarios.
And it works for him because it has to do with his like ability to assist. You know?
Yeah. But when you have him, Zach LaVine, and just everyone
Zach
running,
so hard to guard. I mean, oh my god. I feel like the Bulls are looking really good.
I just hope Lonzo's back because I think Alonzo in the playoffs we need his defense.
Yeah, maybe
it's necessary.
I think you guys will be fine until then, though. How long is he out for?
They don't know. The earliest is late December, early January.
That's not so bad.
I mean, he may not play. That's the other thing. Yeah. So it's one of those knee injuries. I don't know if they're being kind of tight-lipped, making me worried. Is the Brandon Roy type situation where like he's never going to play again?
I doubt it.
I hope not. Hope it doesn't end up being like Todd Gurley. But Todd Gurley had arthritis, so that would have come out already.
Wait, Todd Gurley?
He retired.
Really?
Yeah, he retired. He hasn't played in 2 years. Last season was the 2020 Falcons. So this is second. Yeah, he didn't play all. Yeah, he retired a couple days ago.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with football that much.
A lot of the clear tanking teams are tanking for the tank for Victor or Scooter. He's the guy. He's the head of like the top guy on the G League Ignite team. Is the number 2.
Gotcha.
Prospect like the Kings, the Thunder, the Magic. Paolo's playing all right. I like his game. I mean, he was going to translate. He's a 6'10", basically combo guard, combo forward.
He's going to do all right.
He's going to do all right.
As long as he's not.
And the Magic have good pieces. Like Franz Wagner is a good player.
I feel like the Magic just don't. I feel like the Magic never have enough to like.
Or they don't have a direction. Jonathan Isaac might be coming back this year.
Mo Bamba might be a piece.
They paid Wendell Carter a lot of money
to maybe be a piece.
Bol is there.
Yeah, it's
kind of a log. It's kind of a log jam in the front court like they had 5 years ago when Vooch was holding.
Yeah.
So it's kind of back. I mean, you're gonna have to move one of these pieces.
Yeah, I feel like if they made a trade and like made up their mind on a team composition, they could maybe make it to the playoffs. But like, I feel like they never have enough to actually go on a deep run. You know, like even if they trade 2 pieces for considerably better pieces. It's still just like, is this a second round team? Is this can this team actually make a run?
Yeah, because I mean, right now my untouchables are Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Cole Anthony on the team. Jalen Suggs is a bit too inefficient. He's kind of looking like just a shot chucking bench guard.
And it's not like they're lacking on defense.
Yeah, I mean, once Jonathan Isaac comes back this year, their defense will come back, but it's still a logjam. Are you gonna play Jonathan Isaac at the Like, what type of lineups are you going to be running? You have Paolo Banchero, Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter, Bol, all taking up your big man minutes. Where the hell is you're going to play Jonathan Isaac at the 3? Paulo's at. Where are you going to put Franz Wagner? Where are you going to put? Yeah. You still have Terrence Ross's old ass on the team.
Terrence Ross is still on the Magic.
Terrence Ross is still on the Magic from that trade. That Raptors trade for Ibaka.
Oh, my God. How does he keep getting contracts? Does he play?
He does play.
Really?
I think he starts.
What? They're starting fucking.
Terrence Ross plays 30. Yeah, he plays 33 minutes a game.
How old is he?
He's probably not even that old. We're probably roasting him. He's probably like 29.
So? I thought they were... Yeah, I think you're right, actually. I don't think he's as old as we think he is. I thought he was in his 30s.
Oh, no, he's in his 30s. He's 31.
Oh, okay. But that's still
not as old as I thought he was. I thought he was like 35.
Me too. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was on like his...
He's just been in the league a long fucking time.
Yeah, it's just weird.
This is his 10th season.
It's just weird because, like, all the players that are, like, older, it's like LeBron, who's in, like, season 17, 18, and then it's, like, people in their 10th season. And we're just like, oh, yeah, they're about the same age, right?
Because, I mean, it's crazy when you think, like, LeBron is the last person from the 2003 draft class. Yeah. And Dwight Howard might be the last person from the 2004 draft class, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know who else will be in it.
And I got to remember that both of these guys came out of high school, so they have that 1 to 2 years younger than everyone else. Yeah, this is...
But like, who's the next youngest player beyond them? I mean, the only person who even puts up, like, impact is, like, what, KD's probably the oldest?
2007 draft.
Yeah.
And then Westbrook was the draft right after him.
Yeah, 2008. And Curry and Harden are like 2011. And I mean, even them, they're kind
2009.
2009. Oh, yeah.
Because that Harden was the Thunder's first pick.
2011 was the Blake Griffin draft.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing about that is, it's like, we consider James Harden and Stephen Curry to be old.
Yeah.
But they're like...
34, 35.
They're like 6 years more recent than LeBron. 5 years if you want to count the high school year, Or the first college year.
Which is insane to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how long some of these dudes have been dominating the league.
Right.
And how long a lot of them feasibly can keep going.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like Curry and James Harden, they both still look
really good. And then, really good. Unless, like, a sharp decline happens, if they wanted to ride the bench and be bench players, they can play into their 40s.
Yeah. Just
off their shooting alone.
Right. No, I mean... I think sports medicine has gotten so much better now to where players aren't just destroying their body. I mean, they are kind of destroying their bodies, but it's not as bad as it used to be.
You know? And then also how the scheduling has loosened up in the league. You're not having no more 4 and 5s.
Yeah.
Where, no more 3 nights in a row.
God, could you imagine?
Like, the schedule's a lot. And then, again, rehab is taken a lot more seriously. Right. Everyone's sports medicine departments are tier 1, nutrition, all that.
No, I mean, like, look at when Kawhi Leonard got injured on the Spurs, even in the last, like, 6 years, it's gotten so much better.
Yeah.
And, like, even the worst team, because they used to be really bad teams that just had terrible, but I feel like even now the worst ones are still pretty good. Yeah,
I mean, the talent of the league, I mean, there's no team as bad as, like, those Sixers teams.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Sam Hinkie Sixers teams or the Bobcats teams. And unlike the Hinkie teams, which were purposely trying to lose, the Bobcats teams, in theory, were trying to win still.
Yeah.
And
they lost, like, every game.
And still lost a lot more than they won.
Right.
Like, there's no team that bad.
I remember on the opening night broadcast, they were like, the Sixers actually have a better record than the Celtics in the past 5 years. I was like, all right, let's talk about the last 10 years.
what happened that? Let's count year 6 and 7 real quick.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Hornets.
Do we forget the process?
Speaking of the Hornets, man, what a worst offseason.
Oh, yeah.
Humanly possible for an organization. You lose your number 2 piece.
Yeah. Because
he's a domestic violence douchebag.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but like allegedly for legal reasons, because I can't afford that lawsuit.
Yeah, I think Mike was kind of hard on that
one. James Bouknight with the DUI.
James Bouknight.
He was there. He was a rookie last year. He looked kind of good.
He got a DUI and he's out of the league. How does that work?
Because I think DUIs are misdemeanors, so once he gets sentenced, they'll put down the suspensions, like what happened with KCP.
I thought DUIs were felonies.
No, they can be misdemeanors.
Oh, okay.
Because he was in a parking spot with the car running, and he was asleep with a gun on his lap, but since it's North Carolina.
Didn't that happen with the football player? Where, like, his rim was just, like, out?
Oh, that was Marshawn Lynch, yeah.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch.
But Marshawn, that was in Nevada, so, like, that's the Wild West.
That's true.
But, mainly, until he gets sentenced with anything... The league can't under the CBA. They can't punish him. KCP got a DUI, and that's when he was playing with the
KCP also got a DUI?
No. Like long ago, remember he was playing with that ankle monitor on the Lakers?
No.
Oh yeah, he was playing with the ankle monitor on because he was on work release, so he couldn't play any road games for like a month.
No, really?
Yeah, like he was like on partial home arrest, so he couldn't leave the city. He couldn't leave the county.
Yeah,
he was only allowed to play home games, and he had a fucking ankle monitor on while playing.
You know, I think a real solution to all this would just be to legalize booze cruising.
Yes.
I mean, he wasn't even driving; he was parked. So
fuck it.
It's not drunk driving; that's drunk parking.
So now, what do you think of the Suns this year?
Suns?
Do you think they can recover from what Luka did to them last year?
Mentally, it'll be tough. Mentally,
I mean,
they got a long recovery.
Chris Paul is only getting older.
Yeah.
I think what I said about the Suns was DeAndre Ayton doesn't want to fucking be there. He had his bags packed. He wants to escape Phoenix so bad. He was willing to go to fucking Indianapolis. Yeah. Do you know what you gotta hate a place to willingly go to fucking Indiana? Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Devin Booker can carry them to the playoffs, but I don't think.
I just don't think they have.
They're not gonna make a run.
Chris Paul is right now.
On his way out.
He's Andre Miller right now.
Oh, we forgot about Chris Paul. Chris Paul's from 2004.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's two from 2004.
Yeah.
But I think Chris Paul is just. I mean, Hall of Fame career. He just moved. He just got into the 11,000 assist club beginning this year. So it's only him, Stockton, and Kidd there.
Yeah.
We all know Stockton's assist numbers were inflated by the Utah Jazz scorekeepers. I'm not saying he's a bad point guard. I'm just saying that.
Utah Jazz did what they had to do.
They did what they had to do.
Yeah.
The Utah Jazz organization does what they have to do.
Dude, those jerseys were so cool, though. I miss the old Utah jerseys.
Well, they brought them back this year.
Yeah, did they?
Yeah, the rest of the Utah Jazz jerseys are hideous, but they have the old ones back, so it's okay.
Well, it's too bad the team's trash now. Like, what jersey am I going to get?
They're 3-1 somehow.
Yeah.
And Danny Ainge is the president.
Oh, Danny Ainge is the president?
Yeah, he's the president of basketball ops with Utah.
When did he go?
He left Boston.
That was a while ago.
I think he could for health reasons. He took a sabbatical, and then Brad Stevens took over.
Yeah,
that whole thing.
And then he went over to the Suns.
Yeah, for
the Jazz. Sorry.
I mean, the Jazz are not like a great team at all. Mm-hmm. They're hot right now. I don't think it's sustainable. Mm-hmm. Lauri Markkanen cannot be your top scorer. I wish Lauri Markkanen played this good for the fucking Bulls. Because I have faith in him.
We went to go see him and he was injured, and there was that Swedish family behind us.
Who traveled from
Finland.
Finland. From Finland, who traveled to Charlotte to watch Lauri Markkanen play.
And he was injured. Didn't play a single minute, bro.
That was the...
Never felt worse for people in my life.
But, I mean, the Jazz, you have old Mike Conley. He's playing good. Jordan Clarkson's playing good. Kelly Olynyk's averaging 15 a night.
I mean, that's Kelly Olynyk. Never sleep on the boy.
Never sleep on Kelly Olynyk. He might pop your shoulder fucking out.
Yeah,
he also did the Warriors ever send Kelly Olynyk a ring?
They should.
For his service to getting them a ring by pulling out
2015.
But yeah, I don't think the Suns are really doing much. I think they'll make the playoffs.
I think they'll make the playoffs. They'll play him, but I just feel like teams are going to outcoach them, and they're going to outpace them. And
I don't really think that highly of Monty Williams as a coach with how dysfunctional the team is.
Monty Williams was never the answer.
And they have Darius. I mean, cool. You have Darius Saric back this year. He's back from his torn ACL. Cool. That's not helping much.
Yeah, I mean, I think Saric is a good piece, but it's just like they need more.
Really, just try to move Aiden if he doesn't like it there. Move on from Paul because you're going to get rid of two big contracts. Yeah, you have D-Book and Mikal Bridges locked up.
I mean, if they can get Aiden to stay, I think that's
if they can get Aiden to like it, that would be better.
Yeah. But
you got to get rid of
Chris
Paul's contract.
Either way, because he's too old.
And I mean, you got to make a run at some other guard.
Yeah.
And again, you got Mikal Bridges and D-Book locked up long term. And if you get Aiden to like it, you also have him locked up long term.
Yeah, that's not a bad core at all, and they can build around it. I just don't think.
I'm pretty sure they also paid Cameron Johnson, that stretch 4 defender.
They paid him big time.
So your main pieces are paid, and once Chris Paul's contract is moved, you can get another piece.
Right.
They pretty much this is kind of a punt year for the Suns.
I think if they do some stuff before the trade deadline, they can make it happen. But
if they don't, it's a punt year.
They really gotta make the decision and move the pieces and make it worth it. They can't just half-ass it, trade some of your bench players
for more bench swaps. That's not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we'll move on to the Cavs. They're a good basketball team this year.
They've really.
Donovan Mitchell, once he has a big man who can play defense, all legit defense with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen.
Yeah.
He's a good... And then Darius Garland next to him.
They got good pieces.
Also, can we tell us how wrong we were about Darius Garland like 3 years ago? Yeah. Like, we were all riding the Colin... Because I like Colin Sexton more. I think on
paper, Colin Sexton looks better. But
I think that's also
Darius Garland's like just...
He just blossomed into a great point guard.
Right.
First All-Star appearance. That's also because I watched more Colin Sexton in college.
Right.
And he looked really good at Alabama. And Darius Garland looked not really as great at Vanderbilt.
Looked really bad on defense.
Yeah, it's just... And, like, I didn't like the fit between the two on the Cavs.
Because there's no...
But once Sexton got hurt and, like, kind of frozen out of the lineup and Garland was let to run that team...
They've looked a lot better. And they got Jared Allen. I've always liked Jared Allen.
Jared Allen, I think that was one of Brooklyn's biggest mistakes moving Jared Allen.
For sure.
How many times they could have used Jared Allen the past 2 years.
Instead of DeAndre Jordan.
And Nick Claxton.
Wait, they have Drummond, right?
Drummond, Nick Claxton, Blake, Jared Allen, keeping Jared Allen. They should have let Joe Harris go over Jared Allen. That's just me.
I think they could have kept both.
They probably could have afforded to keep both.
Yeah.
If we're being 100% honest.
Like, especially now that they don't have James Harden, it's kind of like...
Because they freed it up for James Harden.
It's kind of like, what's the point? You know, I think a lot of these teams just, like, make very impulsive decisions. I feel like teams are way more impulsive than they used to be. And are just willing to pull the trigger on deals that don't make a difference. And probably over time, just like over the accumulation of these like minor trades, whether they're wins or losses, just breaks down the team.
And you can see that stretching. It's kind of 2010s.
The
Knicks, how impulsive the Carmelo trade was.
Oh, yeah.
They could have waited 6 months of signing him for free.
Or the Porzingis trade.
Oh, yeah. To send them to Dallas.
For no reason.
Just because James Dolan didn't like him. The case was fake. The case was fake. Like, he had a torn ACL. How did anyone fucking believe it?
Dude, have you seen that video of Porzingis? Like, it's in like Belarus or some
Latvia back in his homeland.
Latvia, and like there are these two like thugs and they're like harassing him.
Oh yeah, and
he's beats the shit out of them. Both of them, bro. It's so crazy. It's just like, why would you ever think it's a good idea to pick a fight with a 7-1 NBA star, even if he has 2 torn ACLs?
I wouldn't do it.
Like, in a wheelchair, you'd probably still beat your ass.
And then I think another interesting team is the Nuggets coming into this year.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray's back.
Yeah.
Nuggets, they're going to make a run.
Yeah, Nuggets scary.
I don't know how good that run might be with the Clippers, the Warriors, the Grizzlies existing.
I mean, I just think that
they'll be in the mix, though.
I think the West is wide open right now. Like,
there's so many. I said there's 5 teams that will probably finish.
Yeah.
I said 48, 50 plus wins, and all of those 5 teams could win the NBA championship.
Right.
The Clippers, Warriors, Memphis, Lakers, Nugget. Not Lakers. I'll probably move the Lakers out and just throw the Timberwolves or Mavs in there.
I say the Blazers probably have better shot.
Blazers, one of those teams, but there's 5 to 7 teams that you can argue, if some breaks happen, go the right way, could end up in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
The East is also not closed off either.
I feel like the East is a lot more made up than the West, so I feel like it's going to be the Bucks, Sixers, Celtics, and I don't think the Sixers can beat the Celtics.
Cavs will round up the 4.
I don't. Yeah. You mean I get what you mean. Yeah.
And then you have like a lot of like interesting like the Hawks. The Hawks and Bulls, which can
both make it to the.
Because the Hawks might have solved their issue. We'll have to see more games with DeJounte Murray.
Yeah.
Now you have a defensive guard next to Trae Young. Your lineup, top to bottom, is great.
Yeah, they look really good. I'm really excited for the Hawks this year.
I'm glad Atlanta has an exciting basketball team.
Right.
Like, not a boring 60-win team that played Spurs light basketball. Like, Atlanta was never going to vibe with that.
Yeah, it was that 2014?
14-15.
Yeah, that team, it was just not... It's not an exciting... It wasn't exciting basketball.
It was Spurs, but worse. It was Spurs without Tony Parker. Imagine watching the Spurs, but Jeff Teague was the starting point guard the whole time.
Yeah.
It would be boring as shit. And also, I'm knocking their 60 wins because...
It was kind of...
The real Eastern Conference Finals was the Bulls-Cavs series that year. And everyone knew once, like, oh, you had trouble with the Brook Lopez-led Nets? Oh, yeah, that shit's done. Season over.
I remember that. He was putting up buckets, man. He was shooting threes like crazy.
Brook Lopez is still the rebound leader for the Nets franchise all time.
He is. The Nets
and he's like second in points behind Dr. J.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Not Jason Kidd?
And I don't think Jason Kidd didn't play long enough for the Nets to score
I guess he
points.
Switched teams a lot. That's true.
Because he started out on the Suns, right? Then he went to the Nets. Then he went to the Mavs, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think there might have been a couple of teams in between there, but I don't know.
I know he ended on the Knicks. That's all.
Right. That's sad.
And then the Knicks still.
I don't think the Knicks are going to do shit.
They're still the Knicks, man.
I don't think they're going to do shit. I mean, they might have a good record right now, or like 3 games.
They're 2-1, but it's 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on.
Jalen Brunson's. I mean, I don't think anyone was ever knocking the Jalen Brunson signing on the quality of the player. They were just knocking how much money he's getting.
Right. It's $60 million, right, for 4 years.
Or... Oh no, it's damn near max. It's a 6 figure. It's $100 million.
Oh, what?
He's getting paid $100 million.
Actually?
Yes.
Jalen Brunson.
Or like right around it, yeah. Jalen Brunson.
The dude who
4-year, $100 million.
Was barely a starter.
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson, the scrappy defensive guard who passes the ball really good.
They gave him. Oh my God, the Knicks are such a joke, man. They never. Just,
he's a good guard. He's averaging 17 points a game to start out the year.
Yeah, but if they just did like normal things, like if they just did it like a normal contract, it'd be fine.
But they had
to be like
I'm not getting Cam Reddish for like a half-eaten bologna sandwich from the Hawks.
Yeah,
is like one of the best moves they've done
in
recent memory. And Cam Reddish is playing good basketball to start out the year. Evan Fournier is a good piece off the bench.
Yeah.
Obi Toppin and Mitchell Robinson.
They have pieces.
They're a really deep team of like above average players.
Right. There's no star. That's how it was when they signed Jabari Parker and like all those other names and like who did they sign?
Not Jabari Parker.
The year that they were supposed to sign KD, but KD went to the Nets.
Oh yeah, and they signed all the power forwards.
Yeah.
When they signed Julius Randle.
Right, Julius Randle. That's what I'm thinking of. Not Jabari Parker.
I mean, very apt comparison, really.
Yeah.
If you really think. Julius Randle is just Jabari Parker who came back from his injury.
And he's a little bit
stockier.
Yeah, exactly.
And Julius Randle, I mean, he's not a star player.
Mm-mm.
He's a number 3 guy on your team.
Like when he was
best case on a championship team, he's a 6-man because he can put 15 points off the.
Like you said, they're all above average players. Like I don't think any one piece is bad. Like I think it's just
like I'm looking at all these guys. They're all players I would want on my team.
Right.
Would I want Jalen Brunson to be the highest paid player on my team? Absolutely not.
Not even close.
They also have Ryan Arcidiacono, and I have my soft spot for Ryan Long name. But Derrick Rose also still there off the bench.
Does he get a lot of minutes?
I don't know how many minutes he's getting this year.
Yeah, I hope he's doing well.
He's only getting 12 minutes a game, but I mean,
he is.
He's 34. That's Derrick Rose was the 2008 draft, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, because
it was the year before Curry. If I'm not mistaken, 2008 draft.
Yeah, and then Brandon Roy was 2007.
No, Brandon Roy that was Brandon Roy's like shot was 2007.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Brandon Roy was drafted like in 2004 or 5.
I think it was 2005. No.
Oh no, I don't know, man. 2006.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
It's also a player I think is a lot older because I think it's also dealt with the quality of clips you watch on YouTube.
Right.
The less HD, the older I think you are.
Yeah.
But then like once HD became normal, the years really start mixing in.
Yeah.
Like I know John Boyes, if you ever watch one of his videos, sport on Chart Party.
Yeah.
He brought up a good point. Like sports get kind of timeless once HD comes up. Because it's like you can't really, if you don't know the date of a game, you don't know it because they all look about the same.
Yeah.
Like unless you're like a super nerd and like like that graphics package looks kind of old, or the players,
right?
Or it's the exception is, or it's 2020 and there's no fans, or it's the NBA bubble. You can't pin the date.
Right. It'd be very hard to like what you mean.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can kind of tell with the player age. Like if you really watch a lot of like of a specific sport, you can probably just be like, oh. Yeah, they're probably like 20-something, whatever in this clip.
Yeah. And then I think the last team I'd like to discuss, I mean, we didn't discuss Memphis. I think they're a great team.
Yeah.
I said that
it's a long time.
Jaren Jackson Jr., he's the key. He needs to play up to his potential this year if they want to be a championship contender. Yeah. As is their borderline.
I've always thought a lot about Jaren Jackson. I thought he was going to be great when he came in. Like, he's just a good fit for the league right now. And I think that the Grizzlies, like, they've had enough talent. It's just a matter of them putting it together and going on a deep enough run.
Mm-hmm. The Raptors, and that's like they're kind of in a similar spot with the Knicks, but with better players.
Yeah, I just don't feel like the Raptors can make a big upset in the playoffs.
They can't do it in 7 games,
right?
Because I mean, I like Siakam. I like Gary Trent Jr., Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa.
But I feel like
Scotty Barnes.
I just feel like they get outcoached in a 7-game series.
And I like Nick Nurse as a coach. I do. I just don't think he is of the top. He's no Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah.
He's no Doc Rivers. He's no Budenholzer.
He's no Dwayne Casey.
No Dwayne Casey. He's not as good as Dwayne Casey. I think we needed take of the...
Dwayne Casey needs a ring, bro.
And he's just fucking rotting in Detroit right now.
Yeah, poor Dwayne Casey.
He really got hoed for shit that wasn't his fault.
Why can't we just get Dwayne Casey if you're going to fire Ime Udoka? Like, I think Dwayne Casey is a coach right now.
Yeah, he still coaches with these. Yeah, he's riding on the Pistons right now.
Exactly. Like,
just leading Cade Cunningham's. And Cade Cunningham's a good player. Yeah. I mean, I think the Pistons are. If they take enough for Victor Wembanyama, they're gonna be a future great team.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot.
Especially if they are patient and keep Dwayne Casey, because this is not a winning roster.
I feel like the East just has so many teams where it's just like, what the fuck are you doing with your roster? Like, what are you doing?
But it's crazy they fired Dwayne Casey.
For no reason.
For really just, you couldn't beat LeBron. Like, with what roster?
Yeah.
The Cavs were a perfect matchup nightmare against the Raptors.
And then they get Kawhi, and then they win the final.
You trade DeMar, you get Kawhi.
It's like, of course they're going to be better. And they were already like a 62 win. They went, 62 and 20? The year that they lost
the Cavs were just in a perfect matchup against...
Yeah. Well, it's LeBron, though.
It's LeBron. And LeBron...
He left the East.
LeBron just... It came down to the fact that DeMar can do shit against LeBron James.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, that's just an unfair matchup.
DeMar DeRozan is not even like a bad defender. He's not a great defender. He's above average. But LeBron just...
He's a super athlete.
That's it.
They just didn't have the athleticism to guard him. And then he went
Valanciunas couldn't rotate fast enough.
No, not even... No shot.
Then once they also got rid of Val and got Marc Gasol, someone who could rotate fast enough.
And I mean, that was 2018 LeBron. That might have been... That was one of the best LeBron... Like in the postseason?
That might be the best... Wow. LeBron postseason.
Yeah.
Like, and that might be like season-wide second best LeBron.
Yeah.
Behind 12, 13. Yeah. Because that's the best LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, that was LeBron was 280.
Well, the thing about 2018 LeBron was he was hitting threes and he was hitting daggers.
Yeah, he was hitting clutch
threes.
I mean, that whole postseason was clutch moments.
Yeah.
I mean, against the Pacers, against the Raptors, and then finally against the Heat, and finally against the Warriors. No.
They lost.
They lost that year.
But remember, Game 1 was when J.R. Smith
and the season. It's just kind of it.
And after LeBron scored 50 in the opening game, yeah, I think I'd be a little tired after that too. I think I'd also be like, yeah, fuck it. They won a game though, right?
Yeah, and also I completely forgot the match of nightmare. Kyrie cooked Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry can't guard.
Cannot stay in front of Kyrie Irving.
There's no shot, and
I mean, you think of what you think about Kyrie now. The more I'm looking at him play, the more I understand the ball, like him being one of the greatest ball handlers the league's ever seen. Arguments,
right?
Like people, 4 years ago, I think you were smoking crack if you were comparing him to Allen Iverson. I really was.
Oh, like
they're different players entirely. Still,
I don't think it's too terrible of a comparison.
It's not a terrible one now. Kyrie never had a chance to be the guy on a team. Really.
Well, I think the good thing about Kyrie and something that AD lacks, you see, is like Kyrie would just take the ball and score it. Like he knew when he had to defer and when he didn't.
And LeBron couldn't really say shit about it because Kyrie was vital and Kyrie would hit the shots.
Right. But you look at AD and it's just like he's unsure.
He forgets he's 6'11" sometimes.
He forgets that he can literally body anybody in the post and that a 50% 2-point shot is the same as 33% 3-point shot. Like I feel like that's something that's lost in basketball now, because like we have this high pace. It's like why not just take it to the rack and score two?
Yeah.
Like, if you can consistently,
if you can get to the rack and you're scoring, if you're shooting 65% of the rack, why defer to those threes?
Right, and you're making your 3-point shot more predictable.
You're gonna wear down the opposition,
and then
they're gonna dive to the paint because no one likes the coach's worst nightmare is giving up shots at the rim. Right. They're gonna adjust to that, which is then gonna open up your 3 shots. Yeah. And if you start missing your 3-point shots,
you can defer back to the
paint.
No,
basketball's not that simple. We know this, but
teams should start acting like there's a shot other than the 3. Like there shouldn't be bad 3-point shooters taking all these 3-point shots. Like some people don't need to be shooting 7 3-pointers a game.
And the mid range is not dead.
No,
you could still shoot mid range. Your primary shot should not be a mid range shot. No one's arguing for that.
Right. But it should be in your bag at the same time.
Like you should have a guy
like Harden can shoot the mid range.
You should have a guy who can create his own shot inside the 3-point arc and hit contest like Harden, a DeRozan.
Helps with your spacing.
Hell, even a Kyrie.
Yeah, helps with your spacing so much.
Because it gets that attention of the man in the paint.
Yeah.
He's got to focus of like he's either going to drive by you in the mid range or he's going to help on the mid range because you can't contest that shot.
Yeah. And like a lot of teams want to be like the Warriors in the amount of threes that they shoot, but they never run plays to get 3-point shooters open. You look at like the Warriors in the finals. Every play, they're just running around the floor getting Steph Curry open.
Oh yeah, Klay Thompson open. That's cardio, and that's just cardio.
Yeah, that's wearing people down. They want to take the easy 3-point shots and the higher pace, but they don't actually want to.
You don't have the personnel who are willing or able to run. Like how much Steph Curry runs in a game?
It's ridiculous.
Like he's in ridiculous shape.
Like if you watch him, he's running the entire time he's on offense, with or without the ball.
And he's playing 35 minutes a game.
Yeah, he's not.
He's sprinting for 35 fucking minutes.
He's not just like, all right, because I'll see that. I'll see like there'll be 5 out, and then they'll be playing ISO, and it's just like, what's the point of playing ISO if you wanted like an open 3-point shot? You're never gonna get an open 3-point shot in ISO unless you're like James Harden or like
someone who can
Brown.
break down defense.
Yeah, and like actually break ankles and shit. Like, and the only people that can do that are people who can also drive.
Yeah.
But there's so little driving in the NBA right
People
now.
who are willing to take contact.
Yeah, and put their head down to the basket.
Which a lot of guards don't do.
Yeah, it's gotten better, I think.
There's some,
I think the younger generation's gotten a lot better about like actually driving.
There was a weird. Steph Curry again's influence on the game.
It's unreal, unparalleled. Because you look at I can't think of another era that where the play style of every team
changed because of one man,
changed because of one player or like one strategy. But we're in it now, and like it invalidated so many of
misconceptions about
older game plans and just like older team compositions. Like they just became unplayable
overnight.
Yeah, just because of a 5-year stretch, or I guess it's been more like probably 6-7 years now. A 7-year stretch, like. And every player who's like coming up through college, they want to be able to shoot the 3-point shot like that. They want to play like that. It's not just the game right now. It's also the game 10 years down the line too. I think that's us like the underrated part is that we're just seeing the beginning of this kind of shift. This isn't like the peak of 3-point shot. I think it's gonna get worse in terms of like more people are gonna shoot the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Before it's gonna like balance out, because there is like nobody's gonna have a team where it's like everybody's gonna shoot 36% from 3. That's never gonna happen.
No.
So teams need to be more realistic about what their personality is and how to play that. I feel like a lot of the originality and like older strategies can be used. They just have to really pick their spots
or be mixed in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's good to have a back to the basket 4 or 5 that you can call upon.
Right.
Because it'll open up your shooting. It's a very narrow-minded thinking too. Because if you have a dude who can reliably go to a post move, you're gonna have to double him to get rid of that post move. And what's that do? It opens up a shooter. It opens up a driving lane. It opens up a cut.
Yeah, and I feel like teams and like organizations, they'll see people as like a 3-and-D guy or like 3 and whatever, but their shot's not that great. Like it's not really that much better than having a big man who scores efficiently at the 2-point and also plays defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like that they undervalue defense and overvalue like deep shots or flashy shots. Just like.
And I think unlike football and the NFL, for example, defense has gotten easier to play in the NBA because they're more liberal with zone.
I feel like it's harder to play just because of how the refs call it.
Depending on the player, of course.
Yeah.
Like defending James Harden,
impossible.
You can't do anything right.
Yeah, he's gonna make you feel dumb for whatever you do. And there are just some talents where like AI was like that. AI could just like go get a bucket. You can't. Yeah. It's like, what are you gonna do?
You gotta beat the rest of the team.
Exactly. And a lot of teams just beat themselves based on their team composition. Like I feel like they're not well thought out, and they'll make all these trades for pieces without a team in mind.
Because it is a business. They want star power. They want they want butts and seats. They want season tickets sold.
Yeah. And I feel like basketball is a lot harder to moneyball because like there's so much.
I don't think you can moneyball.
There's so much variation season to season on each player.
Because one season a shot can just go away.
And on top of that, some of this is system thing. Like some people do really, really well because they're in a certain system. Like I think that the Sixers kind of catered to Ben Simmons in his first couple seasons, and that's why he did well. And now that they realize we can't.
That Steve Nash is like, yo, we're running this through Kevin Durant and Kyrie.
Yeah,
we're not catering. You're gonna have to cater to them.
Exactly, and now you see him in a situation where he's struggling and he doesn't really want to like fix it. He's just like, okay,
he got his big contract.
Got my contract, and that's part of the money too. Like when you look back in the NBA, players didn't make as much relatively. Like
compare, you have a lot of dudes getting paid a lot of money who don't do all that.
Yeah, and like a lot of those players didn't have like super big contracts. A lot of them didn't have like 6 houses, 7 houses type contracts. But now, like even a minimum,
like a ninth dude on the bench
would be getting
like $5-6 million a year.
Yeah. Exactly, and it's just like you go all the way down to the end of the bench.
The vet's minimum is $1 million right now. Right. I think.
So it's kind of like what's the incentive, and they also give out really bad contracts just based off name.
Because he puts butts in seats.
Right, so it's kind of like what's the point of me like going all out and trying so hard if I'm gonna make $5 million next year anyways? Or like people who already have like a guaranteed deal like Ben Simmons.
All NBA deals, almost all NBA deals are fully guaranteed.
Right. But you have someone, I just mean like a big contract, Somebody who has a big contract, they have even less incentive to play, really. Like, you look at players who just, like, don't even bother playing. Anthony Davis on the Pelicans.
And, I like that the players have, it's better, I guess this is the least worst system, where I'd rather the players have this much power as much as misguided as it's been, because they're not honoring contracts, as the owners running it like it was back in the day.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I don't like players just holding out because they don't like their situation.
Yeah, I think
I
think it's unprofessional.
It's you signed a contract. I think in almost every other aspect of professional life around the world, you sign a contract. You got to see that shit out.
Yeah, you want to be able to just be like, I don't really like the town. I'm sorry.
Like you're not gonna even try to make it work. This is not like a systemic failure where like
right.
The team is actively. This is not a again, we're going to go back to the NFL. This is not a quarterback being pissed that this team has never signed a lineman to protect him. Because that's his health. That's a bit different.
Yeah.
This is not a guy who's like, I've signed a second contract with y'all. We're still not surrounding me with any talent. Like, I'm pissed now.
That doesn't really,
year 6.
That only happens on tanking teams, and a team's tanking when you sign to them.
Yeah. Unless you're Eric Gordon, then that's just... That's just... But Eric Gordon's sticking it out. Yeah, Credit to him.
Eric Gordon probably wants to be there to an extent. He's probably like, all right, I don't really want to go to the playoffs and play like 20 extra games.
Go on vacation early.
Yeah. Tank. Everybody be happy that we're losing. Like, kind of a win-win.
I can go out and eat. No one's going to come up to me. Shit.
Yeah, I think maybe they should, I just feel like less money should be guaranteed in the NBA. Like, if you're just going to sit out for a season, why the fuck should
I think there just has to be... There has to be stricter rules for being able to suspend dudes who just sit out because they don't want to go to work.
Yeah, I mean...
That's the end of it. If you don't want to go to work because you don't like work.
Then you
congratulations. Again, congratulations. Welcome to the club. Then you don't get paid when we call out, they don't go to fucking work.
Like when I become unemployed, I don't get a paycheck anymore. Isn't that crazy? But... I think like the jersey sales is a problem, but I don't feel like people were buying AD jerseys when he was like, I fucking hate this place,
Yeah, no dumb, unless you had to be stupid to buy it.
Right.
Not there's stupid people out there.
Like me when I bought my Kyrie jersey. No.
That was different because
Kyrie was like, I'm staying.
Kyrie was like, I'm staying. And he looked happy when you did buy that jersey. Yeah. Then the playoffs happened.
And he sold. And then he was like, all right, guys.
Whatever the Boston fans said to Kyrie,
it had to be some dirty
changed
shit,
him.
Man. Had to be some crazy shit. Because he started going off on conspiracies, going on Alex Jones show, bro. I think they broke that, man. I really do. And he wasn't even playing his own arena.
That was insane.
Dude.
I was again. I mean, I'm still. That was again. That's fully on the state of New York, though.
Yeah.
Or not the city, I guess. Or
yeah, I think vaccine mandates are kind of, okay.
We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that.
You're right.
On a less controversial note, the reason this money has come in is because of China. Well, that's just. I mean, that is the truth of the matter.
Yeah, no, basketball has become huge in China,
and that's the I mean, the Tencent TV deal is why Timofey Mozgov got paid a God-given amount of money when that the salary cap went up. Like the Luol Deng, the Alan Crabb, the Nicholas Batum deals.
All those,
that was all because of the
$30 million trash player contracts. Yeah,
and it was just because of the Tencent deal and Chinese money, and
I think it's a big problem because like what if, you know, like
the league,
yeah, because like how are you gonna get out of this?
You can't. You're kind of
stuck working with the CCP.
You're in bed with the political party now.
Yeah.
You've never been in this situation as a sports league.
Yeah, you're just an independent entity, and now you got money from a multinational, like
basically. I mean, a government-run corporation.
Yeah.
I mean, I know like that's oversimplifying the hell out of corporate laws in communist China, but basically, this is a government-ran. Corporation.
You know, I'm sure Xi Jinping, you know, like he probably has a lot to do with the NBA.
Yeah.
Now.
But how do you get out of this if, you know, God forbid, America has to put a sanction?
Yeah.
Like you're fucked.
Well, they can't start paying the players less money, like all that.
Because they're going to throw a fucking hissy fit.
It's in contract. Right?
Yeah, and they're guaranteed you're going to hemorrhage money.
Yeah.
To the point where you might lose a couple franchises, might fold because of this.
Right. I mean,
because not every owner's books are good.
No.
Not even close.
And, you know, I mean, China, certain teams are more popular in China than others, you know, the Lakers.
The Rockets. For a while.
No, they're still probably popular over there.
Yeah. Well, no, because of Daryl Morey. When he said...
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, he did say that.
So it's just the Lakers.
Yeah. No, I hate the Lakers. I feel like every, like, non-American NBA fan is just like, oh yeah, I love the Lakers and LeBron James.
It's either the Lakers or the Bulls, and there's really no in between.
Yeah, I don't mind the Bulls as much because it's kind of like, you know, it's been, what, like 20-something years
since a win? It's getting closer to 30 years since the title than 20.
Right, and you guys only had that one dynasty. It's not like the Lakers where you guys just keep buying talent.
Who've been good for the history of
right,
since basketball.
They got
since the NBA
money.
Started, yeah.
They got the most money. Like, go figure.
You mean, sure, and you get lucky. You sign the 1 7-foot dude in the league. Congratulations. That starts off your multi-dynastic reign.
Yeah, right.
Because, like, we should sign the 7-foot white dude.
Yeah.
And he'll be a good... And they sign, you get George Mikan. Congratulations. Then you just...
Until Bill Russell came around.
Then you lure Wilt Chamberlain out there with the promise of...
Jerry West and...
white women.
Wasn't Oscar Robertson out there, too?
No, Baylor.
Baylor. Yeah, that's right. Elgin Baylor.
Yeah, Oscar Robertson, Big O was riding on the Cincinnati Royals.
Yeah.
Which became the Kings.
Yeah.
Then before he got freed and then went to the Bucks.
Right.
And then he was old on the Bucks. Then LA then bought Kareem from the Bucks.
LA just kind of...
But those early Kareem teams were not good teams.
No. Like the 73.
No, that's like late 70s. Because he
won in the Bucks in 71 and 72. I thought he got traded like right after they won, like a year.
Because he was only on the Lakers for like 3 or 4 years before Magic came around. And Magic
was drafted I think he got it like 78.
Yeah,
you're right.
But then I mean, again, you luck into drafting another generational talent.
Magic Johnson.
Congratulations once again. You did it twice.
And then you have James Worthy.
Through all of this. You had Jerry West on that Wilt team. You know.
Like, they just have stars all the time. And it's just like, okay, well, you should have more rings, honestly.
I mean, when you break it down, they should.
The fact that LeBron and AD only won one ring.
Only have one ring.
That's kind of a disaster. Like, if you looking like long term.
Not that they've only made one finals.
Exactly.
And it is a asterisk finals. There's nothing you can tell me really... It counts. I'm going to count it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say
it's not a Mickey Mouse ring, but there is an asterisk there.
Yeah, definitely. It's just not the same environment, you know. And
There's no road games.
I'm not mad that they won a ring. Like, I could care less. It's just like, I think they should really have more.
Yeah.
Like, you look at that, like, the two people, if you just look at it on paper, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, that's like 3 rings.
Yeah.
Just like, everything goes okay. but they let Jeannie Buss just let the GM run rampant.
And then him and Rob Pelinka, because they're friends.
Yeah, and now guess what? Now you have a terrible team composition. You're not winning any games, and LeBron's not getting any younger.
The fans are calling for your fucking everyone's heads.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. The Lakers suck. Fuck the Lakers. I think that's fine.
I just gave him the benefit of the doubt because of that health, but I think that was me. Just I don't know why. I just think they should be better.
Yeah, they really should. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. But you just watch them play, man, and
it's not good basketball.
No,
man.
They play terrible basketball.
It's ass basketball to watch.
Yeah.
It's not entertaining.
The only time when their offense is flowing is when LeBron or AD have the ball in their hands.
And they're running the floor.
Yeah.
They only really look good in transition.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, almost every NBA team will look amazing in transition.
Yeah. On the 3-on-2s, on the breaks, yeah. They're going to look good.
You have to be a real shit basketball team to look terrible in transition. Yeah. You have to be like a rec league team of niggas who never played against each other.
Can't pass the ball. You're just like, ooh, travel. They don't call travels anymore, bro.
Just... Oh no, it's crazy. You can just walk.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy when you watch basketball. People that kind of know the rules of basketball, but don't know how NBA basketball is officiated. I was watching it with a dude from work, and he's like, "That dude should travel." It's like, yeah, they did, but like he didn't. Yeah, I'm out here trying to like explain like gather steps and shit. I'm like recently, I'm like, okay, he traveled, but they're not calling it for him because he's famous. And I just really just broke down and said it.
the Euro step killed it because I feel like officiators are just like, all right, I don't know what a travel is anymore. If that's not a travel,
then what is it?
We can watch KD step out of bounds for fucking four steps in the like Western Conference Finals. We're not calling.
We're not calling that. Fuck it.
What happened? K-Who? No, it blows my mind how like loose the officiating. Well, like, and it's so weird because they won't call any of that, but you touch somebody, and they're shooting 2 free throws. Is that simple?
Yeah, and I think it will be the last topic we discuss.
Yeah.
The league's officiating. I think they have to allow more physical play.
I do too, man. I think it's so soft.
It's a predicament that every sport kind of deals with. Where do you want to generate enough offense so it's entertaining? Because no one wants to watch a slog of any sport.
Yeah.
But you have to keep it. You have to make the defense challenging, so that offense is earned and it's entertaining to watch. Because people like when someone goes through adversity to win.
Yeah, well, I think a big problem with it too is like you look over the history of basketball. Nobody else is getting these weak ass calls.
No.
Like it ruins the record books because it just like there's no way to put the refs called everything here they didn't hear.
Yeah, it's like, look at James Harden's free throw attempts a game. What? Okay. He must be getting clobbered in the lane.
Yeah, right. It must be like Michael Jordan against the Bad Boy Pistons.
No, it's
literally just like...
Or, yeah, you shoot a 3 around him. Oh, damn, landing space.
Yeah. It's so soft now. And it's just like... I don't need basketball to be like... The 2000s or the 90s.
I don't want people getting hurt.
Yeah,
I don't want games ending 80-67.
Yeah, I don't want bad officiating. But this is bad too. You know, like the over-calling everything and just.
It slows down.
Dude, the technicals
and it stops the game.
Jason Tatum got a technical for throwing his hands up.
You're also not letting people talk or show emotion.
Yes,
it's becoming the NFL
sport, man.
Like Grant Williams got ejected. For when he got ejected last night when you saw when he got up and was not even looking at the ref and touched her by accident running by her because he was mad at the call. Like you gotta refs have to understand there's context here.
Yeah, nobody's gonna hit
Grant Williams didn't turn to you and push you or get in your face.
It wasn't Metal World Peace and James Harden.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think
that's also a problem with having female refs, but don't at me. Is that they're gonna be more sensitive to accidentally getting touched or accidentally getting
that's a
yelled
valid
at,
point to say because it's not it's not a sexist or misogynistic thing to say.
It's just to have a grown ass man.
There's a grown ass man that's scary as shit.
Yeah, I'd be scared.
Some 6'8" dude is yelling at me. I'm gonna be more prone as a smaller woman to tee him up to get him to fucking stop.
Exactly. And it's not to say that the
refs need to be. I think also because the refs need to be allowed to jab back at them too, like they used to be.
Right.
Like they need to be able to be like, shut the fuck up, play fucking basketball.
Yeah, play the fucking game.
Like then if they keep talking after you tell them to shut the fuck up, then you have a like. Then it's like, oh, okay, then you can tee them up because you told them, hey, shut the fuck up, get the fuck back over there.
But like in the opening game when Jason Tatum sees a really bad call and it was a bad call, and he throws his arms up in frustration, how are you going to give that a technical foul?
That happens 50 times a game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how many times have I seen LeBron James, anybody,
any player, throw his every basketball player does it.
He goes like that.
What the fuck?
It's that simple. And it was a bad call, and you're going to sit there and tee him up because you didn't like how he reacted. Like, it's not about what you like. I don't think there should be this much subjectivity
in NBA reffing.
Right. It should just be objective. Hey, you smacked the guy on the arm.
Yeah, contact, arm.
Yep.
Hey, you took it too far,
Right. But I feel like the fact, because like in football, when you throw a flag, it has to be an exact reason. You have to give your reasoning. It has to be an exact penalty.
Like holding this dude.
But in basketball, you'd be like, I didn't like what he did there. Fuck, blow the whistle.
You were getting like the landing space one.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's kind of like roughing the passer in the NFL, where it's like it's so hard to stop your momentum closing. Mm-hmm. To do an effective closeout, you might end up in their landing space.
Yeah.
But we all know the difference between intentionally flagrant foul and landing space, like what Zaza or like Bruce Bowen did on the Spurs,
right?
Where like you're closing out, the shot's well gone, you're like stepping extra steps well after the shot's gone,
and you don't have any momentum.
Yeah, compared to like when you're just or like if it's like a super reckless closeout.
Yeah.
But like shit's gonna happen, dude. It's a sport of high level athletes. People are gonna get hurt.
And I mean, people can kick the legs out, and there's so much flopping in basketball. It's kind of like soccer, But like, I feel like soccer refs don't give a shit as much.
Soccer refs are getting better about. They're still flopping.
Yeah.
But I think with the VAR in soccer now being in like every major league.
VAR, what's that?
Video assistant ref. They just got video review like 4 years ago, by the way, because like they didn't want it because of tradition. They didn't want it slowed down like American football. That's why they were holding it off on it.
Yeah.
But basically, once VAR happened, you can get yellow cards for flopping. So you can't flop and just die for penalties anymore. It's basically dead.
That's great.
Because because the ref can be like, oh, the penalty's declined, and you get a yellow card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like in basketball, there's just like no penalty for flopping, no matter how egregious it is. But there are rewards for flopping. So it's like you have 100% incentive to flop.
Yeah, because why would you not? Why?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad at players who flop. Like, I get it. Like, it's part of the game.
And to an extent, like taking a charge, flopping is kind of part of basketball, but that is a bit different. That's a bit different because you're kind of falling so you don't die.
Right, and when you take a charge, it's a risk because if they don't call it,
you're just getting.
It's just a free bucket.
It's a free bucket, or you're just getting hit sticked.
Yeah, exactly, and it's there is risk reward to that, but with flopping, it's just all reward.
Or if you don't set your feet, it's a foul on you. Mm-hmm. It's a blocking foul, so there is a risk reward there. You're right.
Yeah, there's even more because of that. But with just whatever personal foul, like they just make shit up. And there's like so many offensive fouls off the ball now. I think that's another big problem. It's like off the ball, there's...
Like you don't really see the foul, so it makes no sense for the viewer.
Yeah, it's really destroying for
just
the viewer
like,
experience.
Hook. Like, where was the foul? Like, you're looking at...
You're looking at the ball.
You're looking at the ball, or you're looking at motion, and then you just some foul happens. You're like...
He puts his arm on him.
You're trying to figure out who's the foul on.
It's like, why is that a foul? It just takes people out of the experience. And I think that's another problem with all the free throw shooting. It's that, like, it literally just kills the game.
It kills the momentum because the most exciting part of basketball is when they're running.
Oh, yeah.
The back and forth.
When it's like 2 minutes and nobody's calling timeouts.
And it's just back and forth.
Yeah.
Turnovers, blocks, shots made.
Right.
Quick outlets. Like, that's basketball.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was a big problem in the finals too. I thought I get I'm not saying the Celtics lost because of officiating. That's definitely not the case. Jason Tatum was definitely injured, but that's beside the point. I just think like the officiating was so bad.
It was bad from like an entertainment perspective.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, that also means it was bad, like statistically, critically. Yeah. But from a viewing experience, it just killed.
Dude, it makes you like if you're a fan of your team and a ref makes that kind of call, it's the worst feeling in the world. Because it's like, oh, great, so now my team's going to lose because this guy got sensitive over a little bit of physicality. But it's a contact sport.
Or got sensitive over a little bit of talking.
Yeah, or get sensitive over.
What?
Hey, we need to make up this deficit. Let's call it foul.
Which is again a problem with the refs association.
Yeah, and I think there's more gambling.
Oh no, the refs are in the fucking pocket. I think
they're in their bag. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this with how prevalent sports betting is and how easy it is to do and not get caught.
You can just do it on your phone and be like, okay.
You can just go on your and
you can bet on like random shit. Like there's so many just like. Because, like, if you used to go to the bookie, it'd just be like, hey, win or loss.
Win-loss, maybe over-under on the spread.
Right. But with this, it's like tip-off, blah, blah, blah.
Who wins the tip-off, first shot, fucking +5 rebounds.
How many free throws.
How many free throws you're going to get. If this person's going to foul out.
Yeah.
Like, or get it, like, or, yeah, like.
A technical.
Yeah, like.
You can bet on a technical.
Yeah.
You can bet that, PJ.
You can bet on a fucking technical.
And then you can give that player a technical in the game.
And cash out.
Yeah.
Like you can give you can be the nicest because you can give the 15th dude on the bench will get a technical and you can tee his ass up on the bench.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be in the game. He can like celebrate or be mad at a foul. You can tee his ass up.
They can't fight it. What are they gonna do? Challenge the call? Like
if he challenges it, he gets a second tee and he gets ejected. And you can bet on that too because he fouled out.
We just figured out how to make a lot of money.
That's real life unlimited money glitch.
Yeah, if you're an NBA ref. Only if you're an NBA ref.
You're gonna end up like Donahue though, so
yeah.
Good documentary. If you watched the Netflix documentary.
No, they came out with one.
Yeah, it's like the same. It's called Untold. It's like kind of like what they did about the mouse at the palace. Yeah. They did one about him. Gotcha. It's really good. Go, everyone, you should watch it. It's
on Netflix. You said
Netflix. Yeah, it's a good watch.
Untold. All right, I'll check it out.
But I think that'll be the end of the episode. Yeah. We'll definitely discuss more when more season updates, more random basketball stories from just basketball's a great, interesting sport. Lots of stuff. Right. There's always stuff to talk about in it.
How about that Syracuse game though? Before we end.
Heart was beating.
Yeah,
I was at work. I was looking at my phone down there the whole fucking time.
I was at my brother's like birthday dinner. I was like, I guess birthday lunch, but I was like eyes on the screen the whole time. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's the second time. Like Syracuse. Our freshman year, Syracuse had us.
Yeah. No, I think that we're looking good. Ohio State and Michigan play towards the end of the season.
They play the last game of the regular season.
So I think if we just keep winning, we should be fine.
I think if we keep winning, the Final Four is probably going to be some combination of like Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan. Or Ohio State, Michigan, one of those two. Tennessee. Well, it could be. I don't think if Tennessee has to beat Georgia in the regular season.
Oh, they do. Oh, yeah,
they're both in the East.
You're right. Yeah, they do play.
So if Tennessee beats Alabama twice, they're definitely in.
Yeah.
If Georgia beats Tennessee doesn't go to the SEC championship. No. So Georgia would probably beat Alabama, I think, in the SEC championship. And then I think if TCU stays undefeated, they'll be in.
I don't think TCU is going to make it.
I don't think so either.
Like they're always one of those teams where they have good records and they have good seasons, but they're probably not one of the top 4 teams in football.
Yeah, in college football. Hey,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's all you can do. But it's been PJ
and Noah
on the Poverty Franchise Podcast.
Thank you guys for listening.